What it do? Another new episode of Tech File coming your way. Listen, the snow tried to stop us. I haven't even looked outside to see how much snow we actually got out here, but we weren't going into the studio.
It's
So
atrocious.
we definitely big virtual, holding it down. Our guy Ken, I'm going to say he ducking this Bears-Packers smoke, but apparently he's out working with the snow right now. Who knows? Who knows? Again, if you ask me, the man is ducking the smoke, but that's neither here nor there. We got a lot to talk about this week, so let's get into it. Welcome to episode 325 of Technical File, the sports podcast you never knew you needed.
And this your boy, TIMKINZ, the number 3, a.k.a. Ask Ketchum, a.k.a. Mr. Give It To Me. I had to jiggle during our intro, bro. I stood up and shit. I was in the Dallas swag, down south boogie and shit. Yeah, it had that motherfucker fire.
I low-key recorded you and posting it.
No.
Let me let you know that right now.
I am the Air J.
Only known as
the Air J.
And I'm Camille, point guard of the crew, the real life Tifa Lockhart, the girl next door. Holding it down for all the women who love sports. Our guy Kay Harris, the gentleman, is not here this week, as I mentioned in the cold open. We're gonna hold it down for him. The jokes will still be had, and don't y'all worry. When we all get back together next week, the jokes are gonna come back again. He's not gonna escape them. I'm gonna tell you that. No Bears fan is gonna escape these jokes. So
he's the opposite of Ja Morant and the Grizzlies last year. He's ducking all smoke.
Yeah,
my man's got trash shoes on right now.
No chimneys over here.
Some housekeeping before we get into our slate for the week. We'd love to remind you, hey, wherever you listen to this podcast at, on the audio version, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, so on and so forth, make sure you subscribe, leave a 5-star review. We greatly appreciate that. And on the YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube page, hit the notification bell so you get notified when we go live. We record every week on Tuesday around 7 p.m. Central Time live on our YouTube page. So make sure you come and join us. Be part of the show. We read the comments out. We love having the interaction. So come be part of the show as well. Also, if you haven't already, get you some Tech File merch. You can find the link to our merch in our link tree. We have that posted in all of our descriptions of all of our episodes, all videos, all everything. So go ahead and get laced up with some Tech File merch. Mm-hmm. I also want to shout out everybody who played in our FanDuel Tech File League this season. This year, our commish was Tim. Appreciate you putting that together for us, Tim. And
y'all get paid out?
Do it. I got my first prize paid money. That's right. I sure did. I got my money immediately.
Good stuff.
The next day. I needed that money too. I was like, woo, Lord. Thank you.
Hey, I feel you. I got my fantasy money. I was like, I needed this shit. I'll get paid the next week. You gonna help me? Let me get that.
Listen, this my new pay schedule. I get paid once a month, and it's at the end of the month. So I needed that FanDuel money ASAP. So shout out to everybody who participated. We are super glad that we have a pretty good year. I feel like this year we figured out the way to kind of combat losing some players throughout the season by having everybody pay up front. So shout out to everybody who's in the FanDuel League. Definitely appreciate that. And in case y'all didn't figure it out, your girl here won the league with the highest score total. So, shout out to me. I'm a toot my horn, toot. All right. Now let's get in. Oh, go ahead.
Real quick. Those who are listening, who participated in the FanDuel League this year, let me know if you guys want to keep the same entry fee this year, or do we want to go up a little bit? Because this year we kind of tested it out to see how well this would actually work for us. It worked out perfect. Like legit, it didn't matter if you did it or not because I had 1 week. I thought I put my lineup in. I didn't. Lost out on that, but it didn't stop the rest of the show. So that was the biggest issue that we had last year. Now that we figured it out this year, let your boy know if y'all trying to, a little bit or, stay the same. Because some folks got paid a lot this year and some folks got paid none. But it is what it is. I just donated $100, but it was fun no matter what. Like I got that back on my actual my fantasy, so I wasn't tripping about it this year. But if I ain't win shit this year, I'd have been a little bit pissed.
So you said the buy-in was $100?
Yep.
And then Camille, how much? If you feel like sharing, how much did you take on?
A little under $300 for the season prize, but the weekly prize was about $32.50 a week for every week that you won. And I won, I think, 3 or 4 weeks through the season, and came out at the end with the grand prize. So it was nice. I'm definitely here for upping the stakes because I would love to take more of y'all money next year. But let's let's get into the topic discussion. I'm excited for this week here because, of course, we're doing NFL, NBA, pro wrestling news, but with it being Wildcard Weekend, there's a lot to discuss. So let's get into it.
I'm trying not to be unhinged, bro.
Be you, fam. Be you.
I'm going to be me because fuck them boys. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm talking about.
All right. So
I didn't even consider that. It's about to be a wild week.
Yeah.
The playoff field is set. Playoffs. We are here, y'all. In the NFC, the field is set. 49ers, Cowboys, Lions, Buccaneers, Eagles, Rams, Packers.
Packers. Carrying the G.
AFC, we got the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Chiefs, the Texans, the Browns, the Bills, and the Steelers. And with Wildcard Weekend being so expansive, I thought the best way for us to actually have a conversation about it was more so on the lines of which games are we the most excited about seeing. So everybody in the comments as well, let us know of the 6 games this weekend, what is your excitement order for those games? So game you're most excited to see, all the way to game you're least excited to see. Shout out to Mark in the comments. He mentioned the fact we got black quarterback versus black quarterback again in the playoffs. And spoiler alert, between the 3 of us, we all have the same game ranked number 1, and that happens to be the Green Bay Packers traveling to Jerry World to take on the Dallas Cowboys. Sunday, 3:30 p.m. It's going to be a game. So I'm going to pass the mic. I'm going to let Tim start us off with the energy. Tim, why is this the game you are most excited about?
Hey, just like my bro right now, them motherfuckers sweating in Dallas. They don't want to see motherfucking Green Bay, bro. We gonna head down there to that Lone Star State. I don't even shit what y'all talking about. We have the Ghost of Christmas Past, present, and maybe the future shit. They so worried about third and 22? Third and 20? Third and 22? I can't remember how many yards it was, but we got that first down with Jermichael Finley. 3rd and 20. Aaron Rodgers, Jermichael Finley. We turn around and we got the catch.
It wasn't Jermichael Finley though.
That
was Jerry Cook.
I thought that was Finley upside.
Jerry
was Cook. Oh shit, I forgot we had Jerry. Man.
On the sideline when he caught the
That was beautiful. Rodgers, that was beautiful. Beautiful. So my thing with these cats now is we've been talking about house money with our young squad. My favorite thing about playing with house money with a young team, they don't know that they're not supposed to win these games. Right. They don't know they're not supposed to be able to compete with cats like this because the Dallas Cowboys are supposed to be elite, because the Dallas Cowboys defense is supposed to be this, that, and the third, because they just a juggernaut on both ends of the ball. They're not supposed to know that once you line up and roll the motherfucking ball out, that they're not supposed to be there. They're going to play with hunger. They're going to play with a fire, and they're going to play like they're supposed to be there. I hope. That's the hope. Dallas fans, on the other hand, they terrified. Man, Packers is a problem. Every time we see the Packers, we got an issue. This all year, though. Don't let us be the ones to put you on, my guy. I swear to goodness, y'all ain't gonna ever shut me the fuck up. At all. I'm gonna laugh at every single one of you goddamn Dallas fans. I've been using my Cat Williams. You motherfuckers have been, oh my goodness.
You have
that's my favorite. Hold on, where's it at?
Alliance to losers.
I'm gonna let Cat tell them the best. But anyways, when I find out this cat,
I'm gonna tell you right now.
I'm gonna get to you.
the way that Tim is acting is the exact same reason why my Uncle Michael, who is a Cowboys fan, texted me that he did not want to see the Cowboys. And he was like, I don't want to hear y'all fans' mouth. Like, that's really what it comes down to. And as Tim is showing, Packer fans are going to be insufferable. And for me, part of the reason, I don't even talk like y'all know me at this point. I'm not going to really talk crazy unless you come at me crazy. And then I'm going to let the chopper sing. But for me, when I think Cowboys, Packers, I grew up, again, with my Uncle Michael, my Uncle Tony, Packers fan, Uncle Michael, Cowboys fan. And Uncle Michael was trying his hardest to recruit me to the Cowboys side as a child. His hardest, like, y'all, the Packers can't beat us. You keep seeing them lose. Come over to the Cowboys side. And I said, no, I'm staying with the Packers. And the 90s were tough. But since then, the Packers have gotten a comeuppance on Dallas Cowboys more times than not. So you enter into this game, as Tim said, house money, nothing to lose. Meanwhile, Dallas, like, if they lose, Mike McCarthy might get fired.
He'll be out of there. And then you got to worry about the future coach. You got to worry about the future of your franchise. It's the guy to do it because he ain't did shit in the playoffs. Is the defense overrated now? It's going to be so many questions for Dallas if we ain't got shit. Dude, we like that fan that randomly say something to the top rapper. Go ahead and respond to us because you gonna turn us up. You ain't got shit to gain from it. You ain't got nothing to gain from this game. Because if you win, it's what y'all should have beat the Packers. They're the youngest team in the NFL. Defense have been inconsistent throughout the year. Their offense has been inconsistent throughout the year. They have a young first-year quarterback. They have no receivers past 2 years in the league. They have no tight ends past 2 years in the league. The oldest player on offense is Aaron Jones at 29. Like, there's so many things that we don't give a fuck about. Whereas with Dallas, it's too many problems. But I'm gonna just, I found Cat, and I'm gonna let y'all know the same thing I told the goddamn Bears fans because I'm gonna be insufferable, bro. That's all. That's all. Hold on, wait. I got something for you.
Oh shit.
We'll go cough on them real quick, and then tell them.
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
I like you. It's not like you. Stop being with these losers. Come on, carry the G with us. Come on. Y'all already, when we get down there, switch your jersey. You already got one underneath it. We know. You love to love us. Secretly, I know what's that guilty pleasure? We are guilty pleasure. Y'all love watching us on Sundays. Y'all couldn't wait. And then y'all realize that, oh shit, they coming to Dallas. Make sure you leave the doors open. Make sure you roll out the red carpet and shit. Dallas, win or lose. We ain't got shit to lose. We don't. This is a squad where we thought we was in the rebuilding year. And granted, me and Camille wanted them because we seen the schedule. We seen how they were. Honestly, we didn't make it there the way I thought we would because I thought our defense would help us get there.
Yeah.
Our offense actually got us there toward the end of the year, which
traditional Green Bay set up there.
Correct. So now we're going to Dallas where they got the top defense or one of the top defenses. You got Dak Prescott, who's I'm not throwing 10 picks this year. Congratulations, my guy. You threw 9. Good shit. Good shit. You did. You lived up to your word and stuff like that. But can you do it in the offs? I feel like Ja will get 2.
Ooh.
I feel like Ja will get 2 because he gonna be chasing CD all that game.
2. He might not. We've seen Joe Barry deploy Ja where he is following the star wide receiver. We also seen him where they go in zone. But if they kind of mix it up how they did against Chicago and DJ Moore, where sometimes it was man, sometimes it's zone, like I'm here for that. And you mentioned Ja. Mark caught what I did earlier. I did the to say like I love Ja. Like yes sir, yes sir. Dwayne mentioned the fact that he doesn't like Green Bay, but for Tim's joy, he'd be okay if the Packers won.
You're a real one.
See, I'm the opposite because I like Green Bay, but like I don't want to.
You don't want to see
them like root against them like that.
That's hate. That's hate.
And to Mark's point, though, Aaron Jones has owned Dallas. Like that's a key piece of it, and you've seen how the Packers' offense has looked over the last 3 weeks with Aaron Jones back in the lineup, able to cross 100 yards consistently, and what that's able to do for this offense. Eric, I'm gonna pass it to you, but I definitely was following Peter Bukowski on Twitter. He's the host of Locked On Packers, and he mentioned the fact that 4 of the Cowboys' 5 best defensive performances by DVOA came before Week 9. they've been meh on defense the second half of the year. And he also pointed out the fact that Dallas's defense has given up 25 points per game to playoff teams so far this year. So this is going to be an interesting matchup because this Packers offense has really taken off, and we get to play on turf in this game here. Packers on turf have been really good so far this season. I believe it's been 3 games on turf. The offense, it's going to be an offensive shootout because the Packers make me nervous with that defense. You don't know who's going to show up with that. So if we get a defense that we've seen like the last couple weeks, we got a chance to win this game, and I'm pretty excited about that. But Eric, I know you don't even really tap into NFL like that. So what about this game made this the one that you were like most excited about? Is it just the fact that it's the Packers, or is it the matchup itself?
Yeah, I was gonna say full disclosure, it's Packers. But like just looking at the slate of games that we have this week, like it feels like Triple H booked this. I was gonna say Vince McMahon, like it's so many storylines. Like it broke right for like the top 4 games. All have like interesting subplots based on like past relationships or somebody play somewhere or somebody coach somewhere. So like get Mike McCarthy in the playoffs as the underdog in a year that we weren't picked to do anything. Like that's delicious to me. Like I don't have any beef with Mike McCarthy, but it's like when he went to Dallas, I was like, Mike McCarthy is who I think Bucs fans think Mike Budenholzer is, where it's like that really is a regular season coach that can't get it done in the playoffs. So it's like, yeah, y'all, it's gonna be big fun. Weeks 1 through 17 at the time, 18 now. But when it comes time to actually make a run in the playoffs, like lower your expectations. So, yeah, I was intrigued by that possibility. Also, going back to Camille's point about the 90s, like my first exposure to football was like those playoff clashes with the Cowboys in the early 90s. Like I remember, again, like I came in on the front end of like the Favre White era, so like I never knew terrible Packers, but for it to be like such a big deal in like school, like I remember it was like one Cowboy fan in my class, and he used to get shit from the teacher. Like it was that serious. So like it's just it's nostalgia, it's past history, it's house money, because like one thing you didn't add, Tim, is that yes, it's a rebuilding year. Yes, they weren't expected to do anything. But on the plus side, if they shit the bed on defense, Joe Barry's gone. So again, I can't lose.
We have shit to lose. We have shit to lose. All to gain. Nothing to lose.
And to that point, just to wrap up the Packers Cowboys part of it, what's so exciting about it is before the season, me, Eric, or me, Tim, and Ken all predicted. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Ken thought the Bears were going to be a wild card team this year, but me and Tim, me and Tim were like, no, the Packers gonna make that wild card spot. And at that time, it wasn't even me saying like I think Green Bay is going to be ahead of schedule, but it was more so me looking at the landscape of the NFC and saying like, there's not that many teams in here that like they're super great. Where you're like, it's not like the AFC, where if you're 9-8, it's not going. You're going to be struggling to make it. But in the NFC, I knew it would be an opportunity for this team. And regardless if the Packers win or lose on Sunday, this season was a success, because the point of this season, 2023-2024, was to find out if they had a quarterback. And they now know they have a quarterback in Jordan Love. They now know they have some really interesting people in the skill positions. They now know that some of these young dudes can really play. And that's what this season was all about, in my opinion. So it's a win regardless. And now we get playoff experience on top of that already. Like, I am here for it. I am here for it.
Boy, don't let us win on Sunday. I got family that's Cowboy fans that's been talking shit in the family group chat. Come on down, nephew. We got room for you in Dallas. Don't let me in your crib, huh? Paint that bitch green and gold.
Hey, I mean, that's part of what makes football fun. That's what part of makes sports fun, is that family aspect, the sharing the game with people who you care about. I'm very much looking forward to being able to spend Sunday with Uncle Michael
I tell him I love him, but fuck them boys.
Even though he was like, I might go to Pato and put some money down on the Packers to win this game. I am not fooled. I am not fooled.
I'll scoop you and bring you down there with me, Camille. If you want to go down there, we're going to put some money on them motherfuckers together. I ain't even like that.
He was gonna go.
We can roll a family trip, goddammit. Don't put the money on these boys.
But it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be so fun. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to mention how the Packers did the Bears and how the score was only so low because the Packers has too many self-inflicted wounds against themselves. I'm going to save that until I can see Ken's face when I talk about it.
To that point, Mason Crosby, I miss you, brother.
Dog. I know we got a rookie kicker, but damn, bro. Like, make the bunnies. Don't be Drew Holiday out here missing the bunnies.
Oh boy, you ain't have to do my boy Drew like that.
Also, shout out to Drew. He'll be back this week.
You know what's interesting about Anders Carlson though? He has missed a lot of more extra points than you would think. That's the piece of it for me. But like, if you look at his actual field goal percentage, he's plus 80% on this year kicking field goals, which is some of the best. Like Mason would do in some of his best years, plus 80%. So. There is that with him being a rookie and all that. Like, yes, he definitely irritated me at various points throughout the season. But I think looking at that larger picture of like what his actual percentage was,
how many kick do you have the stats up? How many did he kick?
I got it. It's 81% for the field goal percentage, which is 29th in the league. Good lord. Extra point percentage is 87%, which is 33rd.
That's not good.
He got 115 points this year, which is tied for 20th. And he was, let's see.
Well, I was asking, like, what was it like?
Straight field goal kicks, 27 to 33.
27 for 33.
Okay. I mean, I was just curious, like, did they, because they were concerned, like, did they not give him opportunities to get, like, you know what I mean? Like, it could be.
There were some chances that we could.
It's just like they elected to kick when they thought because I felt like they were pretty aggressive on fourth downs for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they only elect to give him the kicks that they thought he could make, as opposed to like Mace didn't have the strongest leg, but like
at the end especially.
Yeah.
So there's that. I'm very excited for Sunday. That's the game for me where I'm like, that's the one. And as we just mentioned, all three of us have the same number one game. Where it gets interesting, we all have different number twos. And Mark in the comments dropped the games that he's most excited about for this upcoming weekend. And his number two game happens to be the exact same number two game that Tim has, which is Cleveland and Houston. Why is Cleveland?
Nasty Man Bowl.
Nasty Man Bowl. That's why. And the Nasty Man ain't even playing.
He ain't.
That's the crazy thing. Joe Flacco has came in and made careers for motherfucking David and Joe. And Amari Cooper still like balling. Like Joe Flacco came in. So we have the team that traded Nasty Man, got the re-up and used the re-up to become a playoff team in their rebuilding year as well, with 2 picks on offense and defense. Shout out to CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Will Anderson,
because great rookie years.
Yes.
And then you turn around and you have to play Cleveland when you just traded that man last year. Not even 12 months ago. Traded that guy that's not going to play. And it's going to be wild if Houston is the one to put out Cleveland. Like that's why I think it's a great story, because I'm like, Cleveland fucked up the quarterback market. Drastically, and then turn around not even playing the man that you guaranteed all this money to and traded all these picks to bring Joe Flacco out of retirement to get your team back right. You lost your top running back this year. Jerome Ford thankfully stepped in for them.
Yeah, he did good.
Kareem Hunt finally found his legs towards the end of the year. Their defense has been defensing all year. Myles Garrett is still a monster.
And that's part of what helped keep them in the game while they were going through all different quarterback changes, because they knew they had their defense to lean on as well.
And their defense is crazy. So now you have CJ Stroud and this young Houston offense who had weapon after weapon. I'm not sure what Tank Dell done for the year, right? The year.
He ain't playing this weekend.
But shit, Nico Collins and Noah Brown have been, and then they still got Dalton Schultz. Like they have enough, and then they still got the running backs. So they got enough on offense to be able to give Cleveland an issue. The defense is doing enough to give Cleveland, like keeping them in games. If not, they've been in shootouts, been in close game situations. So if it comes to a shootout, do you trust CJ Stroud or Joe Flacco?
That would be fun. I'm not gonna lie, which I wouldn't have thought I would say Joe Flacco, CJ Stroud shootout. But to your point, Dwayne mentioned that Cleveland Houston is his number one. The Flacco Renaissance against the Rookie of the Year, and he can't wait to see what that was.
Yeah, and the
That
Flacco
game was
honestly
actually work for me because it's so many storylines this weekend, like Eric mentioned, and that's what I wanted all the storylines.
They wrote this motherfucker in the back.
That was the fourth biggest storyline to me. I think in part, like if Deshaun Watson was actually playing, if Nasty Man was playing,
boy,
like it's a different dynamic a bit. But hey, like it is what it is. Eric, what's your number? First, where'd you have this game ranked, and then what is your number 2?
I think I had this one 4th, and I docked it points just because the Nasty Man, like he ain't involved, but it's hovering over everything. So, my number 2 was Miami, Kansas City. Prevailing storyline there.
Tyreek going back to Kansas, and he be the reason to put out Pat.
Ooh,
boy.
Oh, that's a good point, Dwayne. I don't know if you can highlight his, but he said he's torn because he wants Stroud to win, but he also wants Flacco to make it back to Baltimore. Again, storylines. Yeah, if we get Flacco back in Baltimore,
they may have wrote that already.
The script writer they think this season, fam.
They already wrote that one. Flacco going back to Baltimore to and then you got
NBA playing with house money. Like you see the Flacco going back to Baltimore, or well, actually I don't know this because I don't know how the seedings break out, but if it is CJ Stroud, like black quarterbacks, I'm good. I win. But Tyreek Hill ball is my number 2. Again, like for me, it's more so like yes, the Tyreek part is big, but also it's just like those offenses. Like I'm just interested to see like one. I know it's been a down year for Kansas City's offense, but it's still Pat Mahomes in the playoffs. You know,
what'd
you say?
You can't never count Pat Mahomes out in the playoffs.
No, you cannot. Yeah. But then also it's kind of like Miami has a bit of a reputation as a paper tiger, where like they fattened up on a bunch of teams below 500, but when they came up against other playoff teams, it was kind of shaky. So like I want to see what Miami team shows up this week. Like I know they're dealing with some, or at least going into week 18, they were dealing with some injuries, so that might be part of it. But like to me, it's just like unlike Tim, I don't care for defensive struggles. Like air it out for me. I want to see touchdowns on touchdowns. It was like I only tuned into like I don't know, like 5 minutes of Detroit and Minnesota, but it was just like touchdown. So like I enjoy that type of football, and I feel like Miami, Kansas City has the best chance of giving me that. So that's why it's my number 2.
I feel like that was my number 3. My number 2 happened to be the Rams and the Lions because, again, the storylines. Matthew Stafford was traded for Jared Goff. Matthew Stafford won a ring with the Rams, and now the Lions are back in the playoffs for the first time in years. And here comes their old quarterback trying to put them out of the playoffs. And he's going back to Detroit. Matthew Stafford in Detroit. And he's loved there. The people love Matthew Stafford. They were happy he got a ring, and now he's going to be the one trying to make sure they don't advance. I'm so happy it wasn't the Packers going back to Detroit for a while. I didn't want to see it for the third time. I'm good on that. This is what I wanted to see. And Detroit has some injuries right now that's going to make it a little bit more difficult for them offensively. But I just can't wait to see these two go because Matthew Stafford got some firepower with his wide receivers.
Boy, motherfucking Puka. Crazy, dog. Motherfucking Puka over going crazy. And you still have Cooper Kupp, who ain't really looked like Coop this year. But let's just say it's the playoffs, bro. I'm just going to give everything. Everybody finna turn up for this playoffs, bro. Like, it's... Stafford prevents Goff from getting no, he didn't get his ring in the Rams. Oh, damn. So, Goff could beat the Rams, then he kind of get rid of that ghost a little bit.
You know what I mean?
He still could potentially get his ring. Right? They went to the Super Bowl, but they lost that one.
And then Mark in the comments point out the fact that Sam Laporte missing this game is going to be huge for, again, big weapon for the Detroit offense. And there, we talked about it last week when it's coming to the argument, like, do you rest dudes or do you play? And it was a big debate on Twitter around the Lions because, like, y'all could, like, there was nothing really for y'all to play for this particular weekend. And now you lost a key part of your offense in Sam Laporta.
Well, he had some incentives that he could have reached at the end of the year. So that's why they was giving him a chance. I mean, it's money for him. That's a personal joint. Kind of like the Saints and Jamal Williams. That wasn't an incentive, but they just wanted they managed to get something. You know what I'm saying?
We'll get back to that. But I think it's also in the DNA of Dan Campbell. Like, he's always going to be aggressive. So, like, for me, it was like I started to text you guys when I was watching that game. I'm like, is Detroit playing for anything? Because I just saw, like, all their, like, I saw Goff throw a touchdown to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm just like, why are they playing? But yeah, like, once I thought about it, I'm like, it's Dan Campbell. Like, he's always going, all gas, no brakes. Like, that's just what he does. So it didn't surprise me. And it's like, you kind of have to live with the downsides of it. Like, if that's who you are, like, you don't want to take your foot off the gas because that sends a message to your team. Like, we ain't all in. Like, you need. I think from a culture standpoint, like, that's the type of game that you do play. It's like, we don't have anything. I mean, technically, to Mark's point, Detroit was playing for the possibility of 2 seed, but like,
it wasn't likely that they was gonna get it.
Yeah. So, but like, it's like, even if we don't have much to play for, like, we still go out because we're football players. We play hard. Blah blah blah. Like, that's type of shit, Dan Campbell.
Just from a hypothetical perspective, Dan Campbell used to play. So I wonder if him as a player used to be like, fuck, I'm resting for it. Let me play. So that's the kind of mindset he would probably go with as a coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know for a fact that's the thing, but him being a former player and him being all gas, no brakes as a player, he probably was like, look, fuck that. We ain't resting nothing. We're going to keep on rolling because as a player, I may have sat one year and like, that didn't work out.
Hey, man. Like, I think what Eric brought up was a great point about the pulse of the team, the personality of the team. It's going to be aggressive, and that's the way they're going to play game in, game out. Like, that was a great way, I think, to frame it. And I see Dwayne dropped in the comments the games that he's most excited about. He already mentioned that Cleveland, Houston was number 1 for him. Then he has Detroit Rams, which we talked about, Green Bay and Dallas, which we mentioned. Number 4, he has Pittsburgh versus Buffalo, which for me,
that's my last one.
that was second last for me behind the Nasty Man Bowl. And I think me and Eric both had to have our 5th game there. Yeah. So we only have 2 more to talk about, which includes Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and then Philly and Tampa Bay. Honestly, both of those games are the ones where I'm like, if I got something else to do, I'm gonna do it during those. Like it's not the fact that it's even like the games are going to be bad, because it's going to be playoff football. It's going to be entertaining, but like the other games got the storylines for me. Shout out to Jake in the comments. What's up, fam?
What up, though?
Dwayne wants to see if Mike Tomlin can do it. That's his piece of it.
But it's like they spent the whole year. Hey, listen. I'm interacting with the fans. Leave me alone. I talk to you here and there, everywhere. Him in the hat.
You're gonna type "I'm with Dwayne" and then say "I'm with Dwayne." Like, man, what you doing?
I'm interacting with the fans. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Oh,
but
what up, JT?
No, it's
what up, KG?
Like, what up, though? It's one of those things like all year. So, there was a graphic that looking at the most amount of winning seasons amongst coaches. And if I remember correctly, I think Tomlin had 21 straight, which is over non-losing seasons, which is over Bill Belichick and the Patriots when they was running with Brady. Oh, that's impressive as shit. 2, because they lost TJ Watt, which is huge, because Defensive Player of the Year candidate, freaking monster. Like, he literally changes the game. How well can that team adapt with losing TJ, going against Josh Allen, who has a lot of fucking in his system a lot? He's just moving and throwing that motherfucker whenever. So TJ would have been on his ass. So it'd have been fun to see that. But now that he's out of there, it's like, how well can they adapt to going against a Buffalo Bills offense? Again, we're talking about inconsistent. Well, 1 week you got, okay, Josh Allen MVP type numbers, and then the next week you be like, bro, what the fuck is going on here?
They've been playing well to end the year, though. Like, they have been playing well over the last few weeks. Buffalo has, and I think that they got some good momentum heading into the playoffs after beating Miami to secure that AFC East crown for them. So it's going to be interesting. Dwayne added that Highsmith will have to work a little harder, which absolutely. In Pittsburgh, absolutely. Dwayne, let us know what I said. Dwayne, Shell, let us know what his rankings are for Wildcard Weekend. He got Detroit and LA at 1, Green Bay, Dallas 2, Cleveland, Houston at 3, Miami, Kansas City at 4, Pittsburgh, Buffalo at 5, and Tampa Bay, Philly at 6. I'm gonna just say one quick thing about Tampa Bay, Philly, and I want to get y'all predictions for the weekend as a whole. If Philly loses this game, there are going to be a lot of conversations had because there was noise around this team about how they were looking as they were winning. Like, it just doesn't look dominant. It doesn't look like something that gives me confidence to say this is a Super Bowl team here. So if they lose Wildcard Weekend,
unfortunately, I can relate to that experience of winning and not looking dominant, and they belying issues under the surface. But yeah, I like really quick on Pittsburgh and Buffalo. Like, Pittsburgh has been putting it together holding it together with popsicle sticks and duct tape all year. So losing a lot, like, I feel like that's only going to make them super powered even more. But as far as Tampa Bay and Philly is concerned, like, Philadelphia, if it wasn't for Dennis Allen and the Saints, like, I think that would be like the most this roster hates this coaching staff by one team. Like, it seems, I don't know if it's the new coordinators, I don't know if it's Sirianni, like, I don't know where that animus is coming from, but it does seem like it's just bad vibes all around, and the losing has only compounded it. Because, like, it's bad enough that they've lost these games, it's that they haven't looked good. Or they didn't look good when they were winning, and they looked even worse during this losing streak.
Yeah.
Then AJ Brown got hurt on Sunday.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts popped the finger out on Sunday.
His finger was
that shit was gross.
Yeah.
So now you have to deal with that. Their Achilles heel is their secondary. So now you have to go against the Tampa Bay offense that has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Otto, whoever, I forgot his last name is Otto though, for their tight end. Like, it's one of those things where they can kind of air it out against a Philly defense that can't stop the fucking pass. I don't think that the conversation would be crazy though because they lost the coordinators, but I do think, here's a hot take. I think the tush push is a problem for them. I think the tush push, because of the fact that they used it in so many crucial situations, they really got away from the actual run game. I feel like the more that they used it and the more successful it was, they only worried about really running like that outside of Jalen Hurts. Because Swift is a good running back. Earlier in the season, that motherfucker was moving. Then all of a sudden, as the season kept going along, you start seeing a little bit less and a little bit less. But then they'll run it in these closer 2-and-1 or 2nd-and-1 or 1st-and-goal or situations with Jalen with the tush push to where your running back really ain't being utilized the way he should anymore. The longer the season went on, the less they start utilizing the actual legit running back. Swift was good for them.
Hey, I don't know if I'll say it was a crutch, especially if you just need a short yard situation. Get the yardage. How are you going to get the yardage? But the piece of it with Philly that's most interesting, I think it was KG in the comments who brought it up. They lost 5 of their last 6 games. Mark pointed out the fact that there have been 0 teams to win a playoff game after finishing the season 1-5. Like, mostly, it's the hot teams going to the playoffs. You're like, ooh, you don't want to play them. Philly ain't that right now. And KG asks, do you trust Baker? The Baker I've seen this year, yep, he can do it. I'm not saying he's going to be somebody who is like, Aaron Rodgers in his prime, but like This
It
team
was
plays.
no Barry defense. It would have been.
It wasn't his Joe Barry defense.
That's what I'm saying. If it was the Joe Barry defense, Baker get his shit off.
But it should be a fun weekend. So to close just the playoff segment here, want to do predictions. So if y'all in the comments, let us know if you think you're going to win these games as well. We're going to go in order with the schedule. So Saturday, first game, Browns at Texans. Who you got?
Like quarterback.
So you got Texans.
I'm with you on that one. I want the Texans to win. I would love to see CJ do his thing. Like and Coach Ryan to get his comeuppance, bro, because he coached the shit out of these guys this year. Like he should be Coach of the Year candidate, like for sure.
He should be in the conversation. Absolutely. I think he's one of the top candidates. We got some Houston love in the comments here. I'm gonna buck the trend here. I'm gonna actually go with Cleveland.
Not the nasty man's team.
He ain't playing. He's not playing.
He's still on that motherfucker watching and he on the sideline.
I want the storyline. And if him winning means he ends up in Baltimore, give it to me. I want that. I'm not even picking based on football reasons. I'm literally just picking that game on storyline.
Fair enough.
Is the nasty man even allowed in Houston anymore?
Damn. We'll see a headline from Adam Schefter. He ain't traveling with the team.
I definitely know he ain't allowed no massage parlor.
No, he can't go
travel
there.
with the team at
Same
all.
Saturday is the Peacock game, which is Dolphins Chiefs. Who y'all got?
Wait. Sorry, Peacock. Can we stop that? Like, I get it from a business perspective. Like, you need. I hate that shit because it's not even necessarily for me because like I got Peacock. I can watch the game if I want to, but it's like you're alienating an entire generation of fans from being able to watch a playoff game. Like, it's one thing for a regular season game, but for the playoffs, like, streaming is not it for these types of matchups. Like, my grandparents, for example, like trying to walk them through how to get a game on Peacock or Amazon Prime or whatever it is, it's like that's impossible. And like, I don't know. I just feel like it's not fair to just be like, we don't care about senior citizen dollars, so fuck them. We gonna get these streaming.
We gonna get these.
That's how they demo, bro.
Yeah,
that's they demo.
I can watch the other 5 games. But I feel you on that. It's a money thing for sure. But who y'all got in Dolphins Chiefs?
I want So I've been talking shit to my uncle. My uncle was a Dolphins fan. I had Tyreek on my fantasy team all year, so of course I've been kind of partial to Miami. I don't even give a fuck if they won or not. Just give Reek the ball. I told him that I don't trust Miami, and they lost.
Mr. Roboto.
Oh, you Mr. Roboto.
Oh shit.
Are you back now?
Okay. But I was talking shit to my uncle throughout the year. And I'm like, he was like, "What about the Miami Dolphins?" I'm like, "Look, I don't trust y'all defense. I have faith in y'all, but I don't have faith in y'all because I don't trust y'all defense. Then y'all lose Bradley Chubb, who's y'all best pass rusher. It's like, fuck, bro. So I want Miami to win for the Reek storyline. Reek would be the one to put out Pat, but at the same time, it's like the better team. I feel like right now is Kansas City.
Well, this is going to be the second time that they meet because, last time I believe it was in Miami earlier in the season and Kansas City won that game. But that was a game in Germany. I'm sorry. That was a Germany game.
And Hill got hurt that game, I believe.
Yeah, where the Dolphins lost. But it's going to be cold in Kansas City on Saturday. It's going to be like 12 degrees cold in Kansas City. So let's see how fast that offense looks in the cold as well.
Like, for me, it's just that Miami can't beat good teams. So until they do, I'm going to go with the tried and true proven team, even though, again, down year, Kansas City, black quarterback.
Yeah. If Miami gets that ball moving, it's going to be Stafford, the Chiefs. This one's close to me, but I'm going to lean just towards the home team on this one just for that tiebreaker. Sunday, Steelers at Bills. Who you got?
Buffalo.
Same.
Though I would love Tomlin, but Buffalo.
It might snow that game as well.
Oh, if it's a snow game, I'm going with Buffalo.
It might be snowing. Yeah. KG said he didn't think about the weather. That's the part. You got to think about the weather, too. Need some outside games here. But, yeah, it's going to be cold in Buffalo. It might be snowing. Not that Pittsburgh ain't built for that, but Give me Buffalo.
Yeah.
Black coach, give me Pittsburgh.
All right. Packers Cowboys.
Who you do? Ain't no goddamn way you gonna ask me that question. You know who I'm going with. You know where we going.
It's a sweep.
Yeah, that's a sweep. I'm sure Kim's like Cowboys.
He lied. He a fat face out of life. He said that shit. He know damn well he wouldn't put a goddamn face.
Fool for that one. Last game on Saturday or on Sunday is Rams at Lions.
Detroit.
Ooh.
Give me the Rams.
I feel like Aaron Donald will be in a backfield all damn game.
Give me the Rams.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Rams. Because you got and they running back Williams. That motherfucker's nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Detroit. But give me the Rams.
I feel like we'll have a Jameson Williams games though. I know they got Amon Ra, but I feel like this would be the game that Jameson Williams finally show where he's at, even though in the L.
I mean, they ain't got Sam Laporta, so they're gonna need some extra, help from the receiving core. So it could be. And then Monday we have Eagles at Buccaneers.
I got the Buccaneers.
I think it's gonna be Tampa Bay too.
I got the Buccaneers, bro.
Yeah,
you want to play quarterback?
Damn.
Yeah.
Wasted by my own petard.
Aaron got the Eagles. So appreciate everybody in the comments letting us know too. There's a lot of continuity here amongst that. But it should be a real fun weekend. I'm looking forward to Wildcard Weekend. Football. Can't believe the regular season is over. I can't believe I don't get to watch NFL Red Zone until September. It is what it is. NBA. Let's talk some hoops, some basketball. Let me actually start here because it's been some bad injury news in the NBA since we all last got together here. Tyrese Halliburton. That man did the splits and had a hamstring. And he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. Let me just say, me and the mister were talking about this last night. If you cannot do the splits and something forces you to do the splits, that's some pain. That's some pain. So hopefully,
even if you can do the splits, I think doing the splits when you aren't intending to do the splits is always going to wind up poorly.
Yeah, so shout out to Tyrese. I'm glad that it wasn't worse than what we heard, and I hope he recovers soon. Chris Paul recently got hurt as well. We can talk about that a little bit more later. But the one I wanted to talk about, Ja Morant. Missed the first 25 games of the season for a suspension. Memphis was not looking good during that time frame. Ja comes back, and you like, oh shoot. I can see them pushing for that 10 seed. They can be a playing team. Like Ja in the mixture makes this team look all right. Like they can do something. Plays 9 games
in the West.
Yeah, plays 9 games. Injures his shoulder working out. Now he has to get season-ending surgery. He's expected to make a full recovery ahead of next season, but the Grizzlies have just had such bad injury luck this season. They already had Steven Adams out for the season. Brandon Clark hasn't played because he had an Achilles injury last year. They've had dudes in out the lineup. Luke Kennard's played 13 games. Derrick Rose has played 17 games. Marcus Smart has played 19 games. To put that in context, they've played 36 games as a whole at this point. The Grizzlies are currently 13-23 in the West, 13th. They were 7-20 without Ja Morant. They were 6-3 with Ja on the team playing. It's a big blow for them. And when you look at their schedule for the rest of the month of January, the Grizzlies got some games. I'm gonna ask y'all, what do y'all think the Grizzlies should do with this particular season? But I just gotta tell y'all who they play the rest of the month because it's going to count. It's going to be why I'm saying what I say about what I think Grizzlies should do next. Tonight, as we record this, they have the Dallas Mavericks. Then they have the Clippers. Then they have the Knicks. Then they have the Warriors. Then they have the Timberwolves. Then they have the Bulls. Then they have the Raptors. Then they have the Heat. Then they have the Magic. Then they have the Pacers, and they close the month out against the Kings.
Damn.
Now, That's tough. So that leads you right to about a week before the trade deadline at the end of the month. And again, Ja is the engine that makes this team go. So I think playoffs are probably out of the question, but I wouldn't, if I was in charge of the Memphis Grizzlies, I wouldn't blow it up yet. I would see how this month plays out and then go from there. I don't think they're going to end up being buyers or anything like that, but get a chance to see what some of these guys can do in extended roles and then try to think about next season a bit as well. Just see how this month ends and then go from there. That's how I would play it, but I'm going to ask Eric first. What would you do? What should the Grizzlies do?
First off, I think it's just a lost season for them. Like, they were already behind the 8 ball with Ja's original suspension. Like you said, they came into the season without Adams and Clark. So they were already, again, they were behind the 8 ball. Like, they would have needed like a Herculean effort to even get back to contention. And at this point, like, there's no point in pushing. Like, lick your wounds. You know, I'm not saying tank, but like, just play it out. If there are people that you don't see on the team long term, or that you can turn something into like future assets that can kind of help you, I say you go that route. But like, I don't think they have to go into a full tear down. They have the bones of a team that can compete around Ja going forward. It kind of sucks that they didn't get a chance to see what the new look team would look like, because I think when they made the trade for Smart, I was like, this kind of combines Tyus Jones and Dylan Brooks into one guy. So I thought it was a good fit around Ja. Also have a built-in backup point guard for when he sits. Like, it was pretty seamless. But Ja played 9 games. I don't know if Smart played all of those because he was coming back from his own injury. So we didn't get to see it that much. And I think that they need to know if that's the parent going for. I'm not saying that Marcus Smart is like his 1B or anything, but like, I think with Triple J, with Desmond Bane, like, is Marcus Smart like that 4th, 5th option in that starting lineup, or, you know, do you need to pivot to something else? Also, I didn't realize Marcus Smart is still in his 20s. Like, he just feels like he's older than that.
What's he, about 27, 28?
29. So he barely, but still, like, it's just like, I thought he was like closer to Dame and Drew Holiday, where he's like in his early 30s, but no, he's still 29. But I will channel my inner Tim for a moment. John Horst, go get Marcus Smart. If anything, just rent him out to us for the rest of the season. We trade him back to you in the off season. We, you know, it works kumbaya for both of us. It was good. Can I entice you with some Bobby Portis and some Pat Connaughton and some 2nd-round picks?
We'll give you some vets. They've been around, you know.
Yeah, y'all take
right. You just need somebody to eat minutes in the regular season. You need a big. You ain't got no Brandon Clark. You ain't got no Steven Adams.
Nope.
What you mean?
You gonna need another guard. You lost Ja. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know.
I'll even throw in campaign for free.
Now you got a point guard. Like, what you mean? What you talking about? We put it at the roster for you.
Tim,
for the regular season.
Any thoughts on are you in agreement with me and Eric stand, or do you feel differently about how the Grizzlies should?
KG, just wait like 2 minutes.
Yeah, KG, we're gonna get there, trust me.
I feel like the Grizzlies should be sellers. Like, I was thinking about the players that they have, and like Eric said, they have a skeleton of a team that should be still good. So if Adams come back, they'll be fine. Clark come back, they'll be fine. They still got Bane, they still got Triple J, if Ja Morant come back, that's 5 players already. Like, it's not like your whole team is trash, but there are an asset or two, like a Smart, who may not be in the team's future plans that don't even waste everybody's time. You know, give them a chance to go ahead and come on over to a contender or a contending type team. Take a couple assets back where that's going to be on expiring contracts and things like that. You'll be able to free up a little bit of salary and everything. Like, I feel like they should trade. They should be sellers at the trade deadline just to try to look for next year to help the team kind of bounce back. You see now that with Ja back, you guys are legit contenders. Legit. Like, no ifs, ands, buts about it. You guys have, at least for the playoffs, you guys can make it into there. You can contend in the West. You can go ahead and get these dubs and things like that without being behind 25 games. So I feel like if he's going to be back by the regular season next year, you have Bane coming back next year, Yeah, like you already have the nucleus of what you need, and you're gonna have to fill out the rest of it anyways. So go ahead and try to start picking these pieces up. Maybe you might like Bobby Portis next year, and you can hold on to him and stuff like that. You still come off the bench. You've been doing this shit his whole damn career anyways. You got Pat Connaughton for the most part, but you got Pat Connaughton who can be the vet. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, throw in these couple cats here. You can pick and choose if you want to keep them or not. But these are things that will go on throughout the offseason that you can figure out. You already have a squad, so just go ahead and let Marcus Smart live. You'll pick up a couple assets, We'll be all right. They'll be all right.
By the way,
do I know my boy or do I know my boy?
Right.
Do I know my boy?
You sure do. KG does agree with Tim, but I feel like it's a great segue, Eric, into what you wanted to talk about this week for our NBAs.
It would have worked a lot better if Ken was here because there are kind of parallel things going on with the Lakers and the Bucks at the moment. The Bucks are struggling.
Yep.
Big time. Basically since the calendar turned over to 2024, which granted we're only 9 days in, so maybe I'm over exaggerating, but
can I throw you to show that you're not over exaggerating?
You're not.
Can I throw some numbers? The month of December, the Bucks were second in offensive rating. They were first in effective field goal percentage. They were third in free throw rate. They were fourth in net rating offensively. Defensively, they were 14th when it comes to defensive rating. They were second in opponent effective field goal percentage. And they were 17th when it came to opponent free throw rate. So again, 30 teams. They were middle of the pack for a lot of things defensively. When it comes to the effective field goal percentage, part of that was luck. Teams were missing a lot of open threes against them. But calendar turns to January. The Bucks are now 1-4, and they are now 21st in net rating with a minus 8.2. They are 19th offensively in offensive rating at bad 19th effective field goal percentage, 28th offensive rebounding percentage, 8th in free throw rate. So that's dropped a little bit. And then defensively, it's been even worse. They are 25th defensive rating, 20th when it comes to opponent effective field goal rating, which teams are making more open shots now. And they're 27th in free throw rate. They are fouling a lot so far to start off this month. They are 1-4 since the calendar turned, and that's coming off of an 11-2 December.
Okay, so I'm not tripping.
No. That's what I was like, when you said that, I'm like, no, you're not. But now the numbers back it up. Like, no, you're not. Yeah. That would not be him down 30 points to the Jazz last night. You not.
And there have been season-long trends and things that haven't looked right. We've talked about them kind of ad nauseum. There have been coaching stuff, which I made a thread on Twitter earlier this week about the coaching and like the criticism of the coaching, which somewhat came off as a defense of Adrian Griffin, which it didn't really intend to be. It's just, I'm tired of the conversation always just being, either fire the coach or don't fire the coach, or, like blaming coaching for everything. It's like, these are professional players. Like, if they can't be motivated, or if they don't know to box out, or if they don't know to get back on defense, or if they, they don't know to guard, with your feet and not with your hands, and don't foul. Like, these are things that, yes, can be coached to a degree, but at the same time, it's like professional pride, like taking pride in your work, actually doing the little things that got you to the NBA in the first place, like using your athleticism to hit the glass. Yep. Like the boxing out really just kills me because it's just it's a lot of standing around, and like aside from Brooke Lopez, like nobody on the team knows how to fucking box out, but everybody. Sorry, but. Essentially, it's like I'm not absolving the coaching because that's been subpar, but at the same time, it's like this isn't a perfect roster. This isn't a team that even if it had Prime Pop or Eric Spoelstra or whatever, like I don't know if it necessarily has the components to be a great defense, and they're a little bit light on athleticism, at least in their regular rotation guys.
That's kind
right. So like I'm just saying, like, don't just automatically go to coaching if you're not going to be specific about like what scheme stuff you're not seeing, what rotation stuff you should see. If it's just like play the young guys, it's like, okay, in what lineups? You know what I mean? Like be specific so like we can actually have a constructive conversation, and it's not just you bitching about oh, I hated this coaching hire, so they need to get rid of him. Or, I became a Bucks fan because they got Dame, and it's not going the way I think it is. So clearly, he's not using Dame right. Okay, tell me how he's supposed to use Dame. Tell me what type of actions you want them to run. Tell me what type of offense. Really break down what you're actually seeing on the court, and not just I don't know. This team isn't doing what I think it's supposed to do, and I want to criticize something, so I'm just pointing at the coach because it just feels lazy.
It's lazy,
which is crazy because. Yes, we're struggling, and yet we still got one of the best records in the league.
Second in the East.
So it's like we see certain things as fans, sure. We see certain things, and we're used to certain things defensively. Everybody was talking about, fuck that defense, fuck that defense, fuck that defense. We need offense. Now you fuck that defense. Now everybody's screaming, we need defense. Shut up. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Because seriously, it's bothersome as fuck when motherfuckers be like, oh, fuck this team, the season over. We're 25-11, bro. 25-11, and then to sneeze the fuck at. Like, that's crazy as hell for everybody to just start. Oh, we ain't gonna win shit. We ain't gonna do nothing. We lost 11 games.
12 now. Jazz was 12.
Well, 12 now, but still, I get it. We're struggling. We're on a downward turn. I get that. You feel like shit's not going the way that we're trending down. Yes, that is true. That is very true. But who's to say that can't get righted as well? Who's to say that it's only because coach ain't out there sitting there watch Malik Beasley getting smoked? I was like, you know what? Malik Beasley is now just motherfucking Bryn Forbes. Tell me I'm lying.
No, because someone I saw someone on, I can't remember who, but someone on Twitter said, imagine if Coach Bud would have thrown Bryn Forbes out there and said, you defend the best player all the time.
Like, if motherfucking Tyrese Halliburton pointed at the floor, my man looked at it and he was gone. Shit like that is happening. That's not nothing to do with the coach. He put him out there, sure, because he can shoot like crazy.
One thing I will say about that, like, yes, Malik Beasley, using him as an example, no, he's not going to be perimeter lockdown, but that's on the coach to say, like, I'm not about to keep putting you on the best player on the other team. Like, you've seen you can't do it. So now you need to adjust. And that's the thing with the Bucks team that's so maddening. I think people clinch and they grab onto the one thing that they're like, it's this. This is the problem. When in reality, it's like 4 or 5 different things happening all at the same time. And they're all just intertwining with each other. And it's like, like what Giannis said, everybody needs to be better. He was not wrong about that.
No.
There are things coaching doesn't make sense. Like, rotations aren't making sense at times. And then the players on the court, as Eric mentioned, they're not getting back on defense.
They're active, bro. Like, what y'all doing?
It was a fast break with Giannis, and he was running against the Jazz, and he looked around, and it was just 4 Jazz jerseys. There was no white Bucks jerseys around him, and I was just like, wow.
Like, y'all back there watching my man's run up the court. Like, it's one of those things where I get it. Sure, certain cats is getting smoked or whatever. It is up to the coach to do it. But that TJ McConnell play, for example, in the last Pacers game. Your players have to hustle.
Man,
yeah, every Pacers game is TJ McConnell. Like,
what's funny is that was one of the players that the Bucks was looking at in offseason. We didn't get. That was one of the names that was kind of floated out there. Like, hey, we might be able to. We might be talking about TJ McConnell. Didn't do it. He signed with the Pacers. Cool, whatever. But you have to have a hustle player like that. You have to have players that want to give, that want to try, that want to. Hey, I know I'm not the best at this, but if I give maximum effort or whatever the case may be, whenever I'm out on the floor, cool. That ain't nobody gonna complain about that. Then motherfuckers was complaining about Grayson Allen, but every time he was on the floor, he at least tried on damn defense. He was getting cooked, but he tried. He was there. He was closing out.
He just
did you say he tried?
No, he do be trying. Like he just ain't good at it.
Not good.
He's just not good at it.
And so, like, here's the thing. Like, Kim, you brought up like their record before. Which, we talked about that when we talked about the Eagles. It's like you can have good results and have bad process, and it kind of belies like what could happen down the road. So before you get to that, we're kind of at that point. Like we're using the Eagles as an analogy. We're probably after the 10-1 start, like we're at the the 10-3 part or the 11-4 part. Where it's like, hey, y'all kind of sliding a little bit. You might want to. So like you still have time to kind of steer out of the skid. But that actually brings me to my question, which is changing the process means reconfiguring this roster to a degree. It also, a hard decision needs to be made about coaching, because I see, KG and Shells in the comments are talking about, hey, do you think the coaches lost the locker room? The players seem to be going through the motions. Like those are indictments on, a lack of buy-in to what you're trying to do. So that's the second question. But the first one is like, how do you guys want to see this roster remade as we are 1 month out from the NBA trade deadline?
I've always been bad at being like, hey, give me a trade. And I'm like, you show me a trade and I'm going to tell you if I would do it or not. I've always been that type of person. But what I will say, just to add an input to the conversation, is that I know we have an emotional tie to Bobby Portis here in Milwaukee. He is always going to be good in Milwaukee. But at this point, if they continue trending the way that they are, I think that you need to dangle Bobby and probably Pat Connaughton in trade discussions to see what you can get back, because a need that the Bucks have, they do also need another backup big, one that can actually play the scheme that Griff is trying to implement, which is more aggressive, more switching, because guards get Bobby switched on them and they just like, cool. Like that's what I want. So like that's the need where I'm like, we need another big. And I think another need for this team, of course, comes down to a point of attack defensive player, somebody who you can put on the best player on the opposing team. And I think that's also part of the appeal of the Andre Jackson Jr.'s, of the Marjon Beauchamps, of the Chris Livingstons now after the Jazz game, where you're like, one, they're athletic, they're quick, they move. And to Tim's point earlier, they are hustling. Like they might make the wrong move, but they're going to make that wrong move at 100%. Like they're not going to half-ass anything. Like that's just the reality of the situation. And that's why people want to see them in the game. So yeah, I'm cool with seeing what you can get back for Bobby and Pat at this point. And I would also say that with Jay Crowder returning, what I do hope to see happen with this Bucks team, one, I need them to stop pressuring opposing ball handlers so far away from the hoop. Griff was trying to implement that because he wanted the Bucks to be a more turnover heavy team. They are last over the last few weeks in forcing turnovers. Like if you're not good at it, stop doing it. You don't have the personnel to do it. Stop doing that. I want to see more small ball. Giannis at the 5 lineups, and I think Jay Crowder coming back helps unlock that a bit for this team, especially if you're going to be switching. So I just had to say that because the fact that we're last in turnover rate and we keep doing the same things, and now we're getting beat straight line drives to the basket, like, coach, make the adjustment.
Giannis kind of said the same thing that I was saying earlier in the year, whereas, well, it's two things that he has to acknowledge. One, that when it came down to it, you helped decide this coach.
Yep.
You have to be okay with whatever the hell he's doing because you decided to go with a rookie coach as opposed to a veteran coach. Because I told you who I wanted before the season started. Two.
It was Kenny, right?
Yeah, Kenny Atkins. I wanted Kenny Atkins. Two is what he said a lot of things that I said earlier and we said earlier. We can't stop shit. We can't stop the three. We can't stop the mid-range. We can't stop the floater. We can't stop the paint. Like, pick a poison. Be good at something. Take away something. Right now, we're giving them any and everything. Any dude that can hit a floater in the league, they putting 20. When we played Indiana, I seen Bruce Brown was back. This is the first game Bruce Brown back. I was like, he finna hit like 20 goddamn points because he just finna throw the goddamn floater. And he hit at least a couple of them in crucial situations where we needed to get a bucket or a stop, and they did that shit. So
every season there for you real quick, because you just hit on a really, really good point. The Bucks of old, Underbud gave up a lot of floaters too, and you get frustrated because you get killed and dropped by mid-range specialists. But those Bucks took care of protecting the rim, and they didn't allow a lot of three-point shooting. So, like, you can't take away everything. You got to give up something. But to your point, this Bucks team is giving up everything.
Like games we sitting there, Spurs game. We damn near could have lost that game because we left Tyus Jones wide the fuck open in the corner. Like, whose man is that?
Process over.
Like, come on, bro. Like, we got to take away something. If we're gonna give up threes, cool. Don't let them hit the paint. If we're gonna give up mid-range floaters, fine, cool. Don't let them hit a motherfucking threes like that. Like, we gotta take away something. Right now, we can't take away anything, so all we focus on is a shootout. And that's shout out to everybody who said, fuck the defense, fuck the defense, fuck the defense. Now is that, again, what are we gonna stop? Now isn't everybody, we can't do anything. We can't stop nothing. And we ain't scoring like that. Number 3, I really hope Dame rounds into shape at some point in time. Because I said it earlier in the year when he was putting up his 25, his 30, his 35. I was like, yeah, but he shot like shit. But yeah, he shot like shit. He's still shooting like shit. And now those free throws ain't dropping the same way they was because they're not giving them the same calls.
That's what's changed, is that his whistles kind of changed. Like, maybe like they realized that he was just kind of like trying to bait fouls. Like, now they're more hesitant to give him those calls that he was getting earlier in the season. But like, he was still an efficient scorer because he got to the free throw line so much that kind of made up for his actual bad shooting from the field. Like, now he doesn't have the free throws to lean on, and he's still not shooting well. I've been underwhelmed with the Damian Lillard experience thus far, but I also, like, that's where I'm definitely extending grace, because it's somebody that's been in one situation for 11, 12 years. As a star, you're used to being catered to, so like it's all about like their comfort and their, you know, like, because they're the engine that makes it go. So it's everything's been geared towards them. He's coming into a new situation. He's going through personal stuff. He's away from his kids more than he's ever been. He's in a new city. I also found out that he's actually renting out Drew Holiday's house. Side. But you know, it's all new. So I'm not surprised that he's struggled a little bit. I don't know what his personal issues were that made him miss yesterday, but clearly it's something going on with him, which that's more important than basketball. So like, hopefully whatever that is gets situated, and then we see the results on the court. But like, they can't win if they don't have him doing what he was brought in to do. So like, on top of all the other issues that they have, if that doesn't get fixed, then none of this matters. Like, they can grab all the other low-hanging fruit that they have. They can start getting back on defense. They can start rebounding at a rate. They can start, you know, role players can start hitting shots. If Dame isn't Dame, then all of this is for nothing, which is unfortunate. But like, that's the biggest move that they need to make, is trade for Portland Damian Lillard and not Milwaukee Damian Lillard.
To your point about Dame, I wanted to take a look at the numbers with him too. And his numbers have been down super big in January. Again, it's a smaller sample size than what we saw in December, but in the month of December, he was averaging about 26 points a game. So far in January, he's averaging 20. That's 19.8. So I'm rounding up. He was shooting 43% from 3 in December. He's shooting 16% from 3 so far to start off the month. And to Eric's point, it's going to be really hard to win when you're more of a top-heavy team, and part of that top heaviness isn't coming through with the bucket you expect. He's a career 37% shooter from 3, so like, I don't expect this slump to last long, hopefully, but he has to knock down shots for this team.
I don't want to be conspiracy brother, but do we think that's kind of by design to kind of move a coach around?
Nah, I don't think so, because Dame is still trying to get his number. Like, there's things that you are still playing for. Like, you ain't trying to go 1 of 8 from 3. Like, you don't do that on purpose. You want to win. Like, there's something about that competitive nature in there, and then from all reports, the locker room itself, like, the guys like each other, and you don't want to give up on your brother in that way either. So I wouldn't even put that on Dame. He don't seem like that type. Now, if a report come out about some backstage Bucks coach, just like, then it's like, oh, okay, well, who is this coming from? But yeah,
if it's Chris Haynes, we know where it's coming from.
Nobody.
Let's keep moving though, because we had an hour 13, and we still have Tim's NBA point and wrestling to get into. So Tim, what you got for us?
We've talked a lot about injuries. We've talked about a lot of disappointment. We've talked about shortcomings with multiple teams so far. And that does not exclude the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors have been riddled with injury, suspension, issues all year. So it made me kind of go back, and I was like, some point last week, I was just like, at one point when Golden State won the title, and then they had all them draft picks, and they had all the young guys that they was able to run across. And we were like, damn, Golden State about to run into these drafts on top of having a team that's playoff caliber. Like, they about to have a crazy youth movement. So then the story around Golden State for the NBA was they're trying to mesh their youth movement on top of their championship team, and can they do blah, 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 blah.
Two timelines.
Two timelines, and we're trying to build them into one. So let's just start with 2019, right? 2019, they grabbed Eric Pascal and Jordan Poole, who are the two main headliners from that one. Cool. 2020, their top pick, the number 2 overall, was James Wiseman. Cool. 2021, they had the number 7 and 14 picks, and they decided to grab Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga. 2022, they had the number 28, which ain't the same as the top 10 pick, but they picked up Patrick Baldwin. During that time frame, we no longer have Jordan Poole on the Golden State Warriors. Right. We no longer have James Wiseman on the Golden State Warriors. Moses Moody ain't really been about shit on the Golden State Warriors. Jonathan Kuminga is finally starting to come into his own to the point where he's replaced Andrew Wiggins in the starting lineup. But that's it, bro. You had this. Let me go back and tell you again. You had the number. What was it? Jordan Poole was the number 28 pick. Okay, but he turned into a really good player. You had the number 2 pick in Wiseman, the number 14 pick, and the number 7 pick. Did they blow their youth movement? The two lines never meshed. But do we think that Golden State really kind of blew that youth movement then, so to speak? Because at this point, they should have their center of the future. They should have their small forward of the future. They should have their combo guard of the future. They should have their point guard or shooting guard or whoever the bucket getter on this squad. And then they turn around and picked up GP2. So it's like they had young guys that was helping them get to the chip. They had young guys that helped them win the chip. But these guys are no longer really a factor in this whatsoever. Like, did they really just waste their entire youth movement?
To answer your question, very obvious, yes. But I think that it was hubris in the first place to think that they would nail this, because the reason shout out to Steve Jones Jr. from the Dunker Spot, but he said the biggest thing for young players is fit and opportunity. Mm-hmm. And like high draft picks coming into an established team with veterans blocking pretty much every pathway to playing time, like they're not going to have the opportunity to play. And then on top of that, they pick players that didn't necessarily fit the type of player that the Warriors needed. Like, the Warriors are a very unique offense within the NBA. Their system is a lot of movement, a lot of passing, a lot of cutting. It's not heavy on pick and roll. And so you need very specific players to be able to flourish within that system. And like James Wiseman was never going to be the player that they needed. So unless they were ready to retool like the way that they did offense, like James Wiseman was always going to be a round peg in a square hole.
Yep.
Jonathan Kuminga, kind of same deal, where it's like you picking these athletes and you think that you can turn them into Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. It's like, no, like that. You know, if you were going to go the more methodical route, like there were other players that you probably could have picked that better fit what you were trying to do. But you thought, oh no, we're Warriors, we're great, we've done this, we did that, we've been the perfect organization, and we've done everything right for the last decade, so we can do it again. And it's like, one, their core got old, and there's nothing worse than having a star who is on the downslope that doesn't realize that they on the downslope, because then they're either Klay Thompson or they're Draymond Green, where either they play drop off or they fight and claw and start resorting to antics to kind of make up for their lack of production. So it's like, those aren't the right vets to really bring in young kids and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna groom you to take my spot. It's like, no, I'm still Klay Thompson. I'm still Draymond Green. Fuck y'all, I want my playing time. Like there's just a push and pull from an organizational standpoint, and you can only put your resources in so many places. What they should have done, I don't know, because there's so many variables. But like, if there were vets or whatever that were available for those picks, that you know like what they are as NBA players. They're past like their ego. They're already established. They can sacrifice for the team, a la Andrew Wiggins, where it's like you take a guy that was something in Minnesota. He's gone through his whole growing pains of, I need to show that I'm a max player. I need to get my money. I need to do this. I need to do that. Like Jonathan Kuminga coming out last week and saying like he's kind of fed up with Kerr, or leaking that he's fed up with Kerr. Yeah. It was like, yes, that's selfish, but like he's at a point in his career where he has to be selfish, because if he doesn't show something now, like he's extension eligible in the summer, and that changes like the trajectory of his entire career. So he's like, yo, I need to play a lot. Like I've been playing better than Wiggins. I've been playing better than Clay. You're not playing me, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like, fuck this team. I'm about me. And it's like, I can't fault him for it. And like, that's the push and pull of like a team sport, where it's like, you want your individual accolades, you want to get paid, but at the same time, like, you're supposed to buy into a system. And that's hard for a kid that's 2021 that thinks that he should be, the next Paul George or the next whoever. So again, like, that's another thing you think about, like when you're drafting these players, like who can come in and be a role player, a star in their role until they're ready to graduate to something bigger.
Real quick, because I don't really, y'all covered it really well with the topic, so I won't add too much on. But the Kuminga thing is interesting because theoretically you would think that you could slot him next to Andrew Wiggins and they would play well with each other, and that has not been the case. And Wiggins has not had a good season. Kuminga has been playing well, and there's been times where he's taken out the game and he's like, I don't even know what I did. Like, why am I not playing when I see who's in front of me and they're not doing what I was just doing? Even Moses Moody pointed out, like, I want more playing time too. And I think with Chris Paul's injury, that might allow him to get on the court a little bit more, because they need just guard play at this point, even though the roles are different, what they ask of CP3 and what they ask of Moses, but it's opportunity to be on the court. And now that Draymond is coming back from his suspension, how does that squeeze the minutes even further with Kuminga and Wiggins? Like, I think there's going to be a trade coming for this Warriors team before this deadline is over, because the pieces just aren't making sense.
Before we bounce, I just wanted to put a last number on the draft picks and assets that the Warriors had just from 2019 to 23. They've had 13 draft picks in the last 4 years. Ain't did nothing with none of them.
They got a championship.
Yeah, which is
they got Jordan Poole got that. Now he in Washington.
Conspiracy brother. I think he's doing that shit on purpose to get out of Washington. Honestly, I think the way he's playing, I think he's doing all of this shit intentionally to get out of Washington. He didn't look like he wanted to be there when he got traded. He didn't look like he wanted to be there during his media day. He didn't look like he wanted to be there at any point in time since he's been in Washington. And I feel like the way that he's playing right now is to make himself irrelevant, to where they like, get this motherfucker up out of here. The only problem is now you have a poison pill contract to motherfuckers if you're gonna play like that. It's $27 million a year to have the worst plus minus in the league is not a good sign.
Nah,
meanwhile, Kyle Kuzma was like, fuck it, shit. Kuzma's doing what we thought Jordan Poole would do. Hey, I'm here. Fuck it, I'm gonna chuck it. 18 goddamn threes in one game is ridiculous. Seeing that, I was like, oh no, he didn't give a shit, bro. I'm shooting everything.
I feel it. Before we wrap up NBA, though, just want to point out the fact this broke while we were recording. Miami head coach Eric Spoelstra, he had a contract extension with Miami Heat. 8 years, $120 million plus dollars.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Well earned.
I'm to say one of the best coaches in the league, like super well deserved. So let's get into wrestling and get up out of here. Eric, why don't you kick us off with the Royal Rumble pool announcement?
So every week when we do the game needs a name, I ask Tim and Ken, did they do their homework? And usually the answer is no. I assigned myself my own homework assignment, and I actually did it this week. So if you look on our Instagram or our Facebook, you will notice that I need to post it on Twitter, so I guess I got it incomplete. My bad.
Yeah.
But if you look on our Instagram or our Facebook, you will see that I posted the entry form, quote unquote, for the Royal Rumble pool. Royal Rumble is January 27th, I believe. So just make sure that you enter. You can just email us. I mean, honestly, if somebody wants to put it in the chat now that you want to be entered in, I can take your information down. As a reminder, the Tech Foul Royal Rumble pool is a opportunity for you to win a swag package from yours truly. From yours truly. You just enter in. We're taking we're taking 30 entries. You'll be assigned a number before the Royal Rumble starts. If the wrestler that comes out at the number you are assigned ends up winning the match, you win the prize. So, like I know we have a couple wrestling fans in here at least. I know that the Royal Rumble is always fun to watch, but it gives you a little added rooting interest, if you will. That makes you root for people that you might not have otherwise. It's like, Titus O'Neil comes out at your number. You got, hey, this could be, this might be his year. I don't know.
Well, you throw your remote. Like, God, there ain't no way, boy.
Everything is better with a rooting interest. So I would highly encourage you. Even if you just I don't even watch wrestling, but if you got Peacock, it's going to be free anyway. So join the Royal Rumble pool, get a number, get something to cheer about throughout the pay-per-view. I'm sorry, premium live event. And go with that. Rock with us. It's always fun. It's always fun.
We automatically enter, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I figured I was a given, but I had to ask.
Hey, that's not a bad question. It's not a bad question. And I got a question for y'all because I have found R-Truth in the Judgment Day hilarious. I have really been enjoying R-Truth photoshopping himself into pictures, the video montages, the t-shirt where he got his name down below. And I wanted to ask y'all, is this just a Sami Zayn bloodline parallel or is this its own thing?
That's it. That's it, right? Except for it's R-Truth, so nobody's gonna take it serious.
Yeah,
like with Sami Zayn, they take it a little more serious.
Yeah, it's the same vibe, but I think that this is more supposed to be just like a fun thing. Which honestly, I feel like that's what the bloodline thing started with Sami. Like, I don't think it was serious at first, but it's like people grabbed onto it and kind of made it into this melodramatic thing. But like R-Truth is just a national treasure when it comes to professional wrestling. Like he can kind of turn anything into something fun. Like, his hair is going. Like, I don't know how he has a double line and a ball spot in the front, but it's R-Truth, so I ain't even gonna question it. But no, I mean, it's fun. I've enjoyed it. He plays the delusional, not really sure what's going on character so well. And like seeing the people react off of what he does is also fun in and of itself. It's like, who takes it serious? Like, some people are in on a joke. Like, Damian Priest is just tickled by everything, and like JD McDonough is pissed, and Dom seems to be
and JD is Jimmy. No, wait, I got it backwards. JD is Jay, and Damian Priest is Jimmy.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think it is similar vibes, but I would imagine that it's going in different directions just because of like the players involved.
I would hope so, but I've been enjoying it. I just wanted to say that because I was watching it last night and the mister was like, well, I mean, when Sami Zayn came in, it kind of made the bloodline more funny. And I was like, that's what R-Truth is also doing with Judgment Day. Like, I enjoy it, but I just saw the parallels and wanted to bring that up. Like, it's really fascinating. I want to see how this storyline ends. So speaking of ending storylines, Tim, end our wrestling storyline for the week. What you got for us?
My question is, since CM Punk has returned and signed with the Raw roster, do you feel like he has either enhanced, kept the same, or kind of brought it down a little bit as far as the wrestlers go? I'll preface that by saying, kind of what you were saying watching last night, Drew McIntyre cut a fire-ass promo. Mm-hmm. And at mid-promo, Punk walks out. And me and the wife watching it, I'm like, man, as he's cutting this promo, I was like, he honestly has been one of the main people talking shit about Punk since Punk came back. Like, every time he gets on a promo, he always says some slick shit about Punk. Then Punk walks out. I'm like, and we both like, oh, this could be a good round. This will be a good little. Didn't even consider it because, like, everybody kind of talking shit about him. You know what I mean? But then when he came out, we were like, this actually could be kind of a fun little rivalry right here. And then he did the old school CM Punk leaning on the ropes and shit like that with the microphone. Go ahead, finish your shit. But I'll wait till you're done. Like, so Seth Rollins cut a fire ass promo since he's been back. Yep. Drew McIntyre's cut a fire promo since he's been back. I think Sami Zayn did, or somebody else did. But like, it's like everybody that's come across him or has tried to interact with him has been kind of, to me, stepping their game up when it comes to promos for sure. We ain't seen him wrestle yet. That was her whole thing. She was like, "When the fuck we gonna see him in the ring? Stop wrestling behind the scenes. Come on, bring your ass on the screen. Get this win on the screen." But because he has been wrestling, he like his first match was against Dom.
Yeah. So
it's like, okay, we see that y'all kind of warming him up to get back out here like that. Cool. But it made me think about it. I was like, CM Punk effect. Has he been better for the roster, or has everything kind of been the same?
I think he's improved.
I ain't gonna hold you. I haven't been watching Raw. Like I've caught the highlights, but I feel like the Bucks have played a whole bunch of Monday games. So I wind up like this.
Yeah,
but like I think that it's kind of like when you have somebody that can like really wrestle, like a Daniel Bryan or somebody, where it's like if you're in the ring with them, you kind of got to step your game up because you want to go toe for toe. Like I'm thinking about like the Miz. Like he always had great matches with Daniel Bryan because like he would raise his level up to try to keep up with Bryan. I think the same thing applies to Punk on the mic, where it's like you have this dude that's a magnet for attention. Like his promo spots are always fire. Like you got to bring it on the mic every time you go at him, because if you don't, you're gonna get killed. So it's kind of like, I think that he raises the bar. And not to throw shots at AEW, but I feel like that's the difference between like the two locker rooms, where it's like they look at Punk as an opportunity. The other ones look at it like he's the enemy. And it's like, even if you don't like the dude, like that's money. Like as Drew McIntyre, like if you can ingratiate yourself and make a Punk storyline, not rivalry, whatever. Like if you can get into a feud, that's what I was looking for. If you can get into a feud with Punk, like that elevates you up the card. Like it's Drew McIntyre, so he's already up there, but it's like that gives you like a focus, like premium spot on Raw. Like you have all the promo time you want. Like you can do whatever. Like that's an opportunity. Just like getting in the ring with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels back in the day was an opportunity. Like you want to be in those spots, and like having somebody to kind of strive for and kind of work against raises raising tides, lift all boats, or whatever the saying is. So I think it's all money, like from there. Yeah. And the fact that on shows that Punk is appearing, like the ratings are probably going to be higher. You have more of a propensity to go viral. Like everything that drives the wrestling business these days, like Punk elevates. So whether you like him or not, like I think that you should be gunning for him. And to that end, like Cody had a quote that came out today where he's talking about like Punk coming back and Rock coming back and all these things, and he's like, I know what I'm up against, and it only makes me go harder to be the face of the company, because like these are dudes that I'm fighting with spots for. Right. So I gotta go, above and beyond to get to where I want to be.
That's a fact. I ain't got nothing to add to that. That was a perfect promo yourself, my guy. That's top notch.
I love the machinations of wrestling. Like the product on the screen is great. Like I'm invested in that, but it's kind of like, what are the moving pieces? Like what gets us to where we're going, and like what are like not even meta storylines, but more so like what are they trying to accomplish and how are they doing it? Like the process of creating a wrestling show is interesting to me, especially the more that I learn about it. So I've thought about stuff like this. is essentially what it comes down to.
No, that's real. You did that. That alley-oop, and Eric came down with something vicious on that one.
Listen, sometimes it's that easy.
Hey, for real though. Sometimes it is. Let's do some quick hits and get up out of here. So, of course, after the NFL regular season ends, we know some coaches are going to see the end of their tenures in their respective cities as well. We have heard a few coaches let go, so I want to run through that list. First, the Falcons fired Arthur Smith, and that was quick. They didn't even wait till Monday. It was Sunday night. They said, you out of there, boss.
Technically, it was Monday morning. It was like 11:02 Central, so it was technically Monday on the East Coast.
Atlanta in our time zone. That's the day. The Commanders fired head coach Ron Rivera. We knew that was coming along the way, and Commanders
before the damn game started.
We knew like he was towards the end of that season. We knew that he wasn't coming back, and the Commanders owner reached out and hired ex-Golden State Warrior general manager Bob Myers, as well as the old Minnesota Vikings GM Rick Spielman, to assist the ownership group in their new hire. He's trying to get as much help as he can get, as Tim would say, the cross-play help.
Well, also, like, Josh Harris is the owner of the 76ers. So, like, he's in the NBA world. So, like, it's not far leap for him to have a relationship with Bob Myers. And,
that makes sense. And the Panthers, they won't just have a new coach in 2024. As you remember, they fired Frank Wright back in November, like right after Thanksgiving. He was the first head coach to let go this season. But after the season closed, they also got rid of their GM, Scott Fatitter, I believe it is how you pronounce his last name. My apologies if I mispronounced it, but he's out of there. In Carolina, Titans fired their head coach, Mike Babel, today, which kind of caught me off guard. Like, I know they've had 2 down years, but that man's going to be at the top of a lot of coaching lists this season.
New England.
And as we mentioned, during the season, the Raiders had fired Josh McDaniels, so the Raiders' job is open. They did go 5-4 under their interim head coach, Antonio Pierce. So we don't know if he's going to keep that job or not. And then the Chargers fired Brandon Staley mid-December after they got blown out 63-21 in his last game. So yeah, they're gonna find some new stuff. Shell's added the Panthers need a new owner. They do, but he ain't giving that up unless they make him. And then last but not least, the college football playoff game championship game has occurred. Michigan finally got them one. They defeated Washington 34-13. Michigan is happy. They're national champions.
For first time since
and first Big Ten title since 2014. But if there is a player in the draft that I would like on the Packers, I would love Blake Corum, the running back for Michigan. Blake Corum is a monster. I would, and you know how they put the value on running backs right now. So if he gonna be at the end of the first round, get his ass.
I'm not taking no running back in the first round.
I would take him. No, seriously, I would take him because they devalue running backs, but we know that running backs still have first round value. They just gonna put him in a second. I would take him at the end of the first round. But granted, I think we had number 19 this year though, because of our record. So that's more so close to the mid of the first round anyway.
I feel like he's been in college for a minute.
He might have been. I think he might be a 5th-year senior or some shit. Where's Blake Corum?
Yeah, I feel like he's been around for a long time.
He said no way.
Yeah, no way, Tim. Thank you, Shell. Thank you. But shout out to Michigan. Fun fact about me, I lived in Ann Arbor, Michigan for a year of my life. And because of that, I don't watch hockey, but I'm a Red Wings fan. I had to put a team to it. It's the Red Wings. I don't follow college football because Marquette didn't have a college football program. But hey, shout out to Michigan. I shout out to them. Ann Arbor is a fun city. So,
wait, I got one for my case for Blake Corum. Blake Corum is the only player at the FBS level to score a touchdown in every game he's appeared in this season.
Cool. Still not taking him in the first round.
I'm also leery of like workhorse running backs in college because it's like they get ground down faster. It's like give me the dude that like popped for 1 year, was just like running over people, didn't get hit that much. Like I want as little tread on the tires as possible. Like I hate talking about players like this, but like it's the reality of the NFL. Like you don't want somebody that's already beat the shit like before they even get to the league. So it's like he can be as cold as he want to be, but like if he got all his burst like used up at Michigan, it's like you don't use a first round pick on that.
Bill in the comments added that running backs only have a 5-year value. First round pick, no way. Shells added second, third round, maybe, and that's where
that's two of them.
Also,
he's got an early one too.
5'8" to 213, 5'8". That's not.
You say he's 5'8"?
He's 5'8".
Absolutely not. Yeah, you out your doggone mind.
What? Listen, Blake Corum is cold, bro. Like seriously, he's a cold running back.
I'm not saying that he's not. I'm talking about the draft position. Like I can't get with that. I can't go for that. What Hall and Note say? Can't go for that. But
The last time we had a small running back like that was Jonathan Franklin.
and
I mean, Aaron Jones ain't that big, but
No, he's
even
not.
still,
but
like, he was like a 5th round pick too.
Oh, I got one quick hit before we go. Noah nigga. I don't know if his name is nigga or kigger.
It's Kamiga, fam.
But we're gonna know a nigga next year. I don't know who will announce his name. I don't know who will pronounce that shit correctly or wrong. Cause somebody gonna slip up and fuck around and call him Noah nigga. And we're gonna be like, you know a nigga?
The fact that we had naysayer and nigga in the first 2 weeks of 2024 is like, where do we go from here?
That is gonna be crazy.
I mean, 2024 has started off with an interesting,
With a bang, bro.
from the dude jumping the judge in court to the
My boy playing like Rey Mysterio off the
to
top rope.
Kamiga, to Cat Williams. Cat Williams got Ludacris out here dropping freestyle disses. It's a lot happening in the first week of 2024. But hey, let's get out of here. For everybody who's being affected by this storm coming through, we hope that you are remaining safe and that you have been safe. Continue taking care of yourself. Be safe out here in these streets. And remember, here's the best advice I can ever give you when it comes to driving. Only you know how bad your tires are.
Yeah.
So don't let nobody make you go faster than you need to. All right.
No break early and often. God damn it.
Hey, you know your tires. You know if they bald. So do what you need to do. But we're going to get out of here. If you want to follow me on social media, you can catch me.
Wait a minute.
On Twitter, Instagram, and these PSN 2K streets at Camille Monet, CamilleMonae. Real quick, Shell said, what storm? They lied. This storm had weather warnings in over 40 states. So it's not even just what Wisconsin got or what we got being by the lake, but like this storm was huge. So just safety, everybody.
And it ain't over. It's supposed to go through 3 o'clock in the morning. So like, please don't talk shit to the storm until it's actually passed.
And then it's coming back around on Thursday.
Yeah.
And
it's gonna spin the block, bro. All you it's gonna spin the block.
Please respect this Wisconsin weather. But I am at Bucksburner on Twitter.
That's all you get.
That is all you get.
Yeah, I guess not. Ken ain't here. What was the KR216 on Twitter?
Everyday_gentleman on Instagram and Snapchat.
And that's all you get from his ass. Because his motherfucking track shoes on today. He gonna say his ice skates because he out here dealing with that snow. But I call him some goddamn track shoes. We'll see his ass next week, though. He ain't gonna duck this smoke because I got some shit for him. Y'all know I got some shit for his ass.
Go ahead and close
the show and get out of here.
And this your boy TIMKINZ, the number 3. Don't forget, I carry the motherfucking G, aka Cat Ass Ketchum, aka Mr. Give It To Me. I'll see y'all next week.
Peace out, y'all. We appreciate y'all tuning in.